1 for the revised final for digital storytelling. So I'm just going to scroll down here to option 1, which is to do a promo video. This one's probably the closest to what we would normally do for this class. And so for this promo video, what I'd like you to do is to create a video that's 1.5 to 2 minutes long, and it promotes the app to the intended audience. So in that video, you're going to want to identify the problem that your app solves and make sure that those 3 to 5 features that you've highlighted earlier on in the discussion boards, that you highlight those in your video as well. And you want to make sure that you've got that persona for your ideal user that you've passed in, and keep that in mind when you're looking at the tone of your video. So when you think about by tone, I mean like both tone of voice, like is it conversational, is it professional, but also things like, look and feel, what fonts you use, what colors you use, how you kind of show the piece off. You want your video to be interesting and compelling. So think about all of the techniques that we've covered in class. So your video should have a beginning, a middle, and the end. Now, the purpose of a promo video is to sell the app. How much of the app you actually show is up to you. Maybe you want to focus more on the problem side of things and only briefly show the app. Maybe you want to talk about the app but not show it. That's fine. But you want to make sure that you lay it out in a way that makes sense. Do you want to use color to try to evoke mood? Are you going to want to play with the user's emotion? Use the rule of thirds. Again, with the beginning, middle, and end, think about how a lot of times, when you look at ads, they come in threes where you've got 3 beats. So maybe you show 3 different versions and, we're Goldilocks and the 3 bears, this one's just right. You want your promotional piece to appeal to your customer as much as possible. So use whatever tools and tricks we have. Again, go back through the book. If you need me to, I can post a scan of the first section of the book as well, but the second 2 sections are going to be up on Blackboard. But go through and use these tools for you to try to make your video as compelling as possible. And remember, you don't have to show the app, but you may if you want to. And so a tip could be that you make a fake screen as a photo. And then you can bring that photo up on your phone and you can tap on it and it makes it look like you're actually using an app, but you don't have to have it actually do anything. So there are lots of little ways to kind of cheat and make things look like they're real when they're not. And if you need any ideas or advice, feel free to come into the Zoom chat and to ask. So you can make this video in iMovie or any other editing software. So as long as you can meet the technical requirements that I'm about to go over, I don't mind what program you use. If you do have an iPhone, then you have iMovie already baked in. If you've got an Android, I can go through and research different free video editing options for you if you don't already have one. If you're using a desktop and you would like, I can get you access to the Creative Cloud software if you want to download Premiere. If you've got a Mac, again, then iMovie is kind of built in. You might have to go to the App Store in order to download it, but it would be free for you. So anything that you have access to, feel free to use. And I do understand that we are obviously in a kind of limited setting, so you're not going to be able to go out and rope your friends into this or to rope other people into it because obviously we're all kind of quarantined. So, within the limits of what we have access to. And if you need any help or you need any tools that I can get you, please feel free to ask. In terms of the requirements, you want to make sure you hit all of the shared requirements that I went through in the first video. I do also want you to, by April 17th, submit a storyboard that maps out what points you want to hit. So when we talk about making sure that there's a narrative arc, are you opening with, here's someone being frustrated by their lack of ability to do a thing. I'm poking at my phone. Then you go on to talk about, maybe your competitors and then how you're better. And then you end it with someone having been transformed and they're in a new place because of the wonderfulness of your app. So you want to think through these issues and also make sure that you can actually get all of the shots and all of the pieces that you need and want. So being able to, about 10 days before the piece is due, to have your map ready and done, that's a good point to make sure that you can actually have everything done in time. So make sure that you submit that as you can take a photo of it. If you guys need, you can, draw it out yourself by hand. That's absolutely fine. I just want to make sure that you know what you're going to be doing. And again, make sure it comes into the time frame. The technical requirements, it's that it's 1.5 to 2 minutes long, so that's 90 to 120 seconds. It must have audio, and you must have a title and end credits, which is a new change from the last video that we did. And that time limit of 1.5 to 2 minutes includes the title and the end credits. You must make sure that the video is also HD, either 720p or 1080. Either one's fine. And again, these can be, you'll see these as presets inside of your editing software. It should by default go to HD if you're using a smartphone because they're kind of set up for that. The only time you'd really have an issue is if you were using something that wasn't a smartphone for shooting. But also remember to keep it horizontal. We're not shooting an Instagram story or TikTok. But if you have any technical questions, again, I'll be in on Zoom on Mondays and Wednesdays, and you can come in and you can ask me questions. But those are all of the specific requirements for option 1, which is to create a promotional video.